Ow, that's holy smokes.
We
If your microphone is
shut it
still
down.
on, go ahead and mute your microphone real quickly, just so that we
Oh.
don't have feedback. A lot of times that happens if we all leave microphones on. But you probably got 2 to 3 good ideas that you thought would work for you out
Hey,
of that
no
session.
way. My group were superstars. We had like a dozen.
Oh
Just
my God.
saying.
So what I wanted to do right now,
Competition, but I'm saying they're amazing.
the competition of small groups, I can't handle it.
That's right.
Okay,
Competition of small groups up in here.
okay. So also what we learned from the faith formation training is that your small group might be highly competitive, and you can take advantage of this. And the way that we're going to do that right now is I'm going to share another one of those screens with just a Word document, and I'm going to write down all of your ideas as you yell them out. So first I have to share my screen. And then I have to put in a page break. And then we will share out. And I'm not going to just do it like you did last time. When you think you have an awesome idea, unmute yourself, yell it out. And I'm a decently fast typer, so we'll see if we can get them all on here. Go.
Samantha's going to take her kids to the cafeteria, and they're going to have a championship bake-off with each other.
All the food ones I want invitations for. Everybody email me, please. Thank you.
Or we could be judges for some kind of competition. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Ideas.
We're having a bonfire. And just so you know, our group had not only a dozen, we already planned one whole meeting. So we are way ahead of you guys.
Burn, baby, burn.
Just so you know, we played 2 truths and a lie, and we know a lot about each other already in our group.
Okay, this is awesome. I'm not writing any of those down because those are not ideas we can share with everybody.
Our group said a lot about outdoor activities, from hiking, picnic areas. You could throw in anything on a lake, kayaking, so on and so forth. Visiting the Elk County Visitor Center. What?
Indoor tubing was another one.
We had a bicycle trip.
Lots of nature ideas, including going to like an eagle viewing area or having a picnic outside.
I like the picnic because no matter where you are, you can basically find grassy areas.
Game
by
night.
your parish.
It's very JP2F.
Yeah. Oh, a game night?
Yep, and an escape room.
I'm gonna put or an escape room box because they sell those escape room boxes now.
Oh
So
no,
if you
the thing, locked in a room, do it.
well, maybe
The boxes can be really
okay.
difficult.
What's that, Irene?
The boxes can be really difficult.
They can't.
Yeah.
They're
Been
a
there,
lot.
done that with the youth group.
We also had going to each other's activities, high school activities, and supporting each other.
Right.
So
Yep, great, good, yep.
So I'm gonna put, for example, like a football, basketball,
Play.
Rubik's Cube competition.
An interactive restaurant.
What does that mean?
Oh, like you ever go to the Japanese restaurants where they're throwing food at you?
Yeah.
Okay, Nick mentioned axe throwing, and I wasn't sure if that was approved, but I'm just gonna brainstorm it out there.
If your small group were adults.
Take the chitlins with axes, that's fine.
Hey,
Somebody from our group wanted to go fishing.
Oh, Nick, man, your audio is killing me. Can you try again?
Yeah,
No.
I said when I went, everybody left with all 10 fingers and toes.
Oh, good. That's awesome.
We
You
had
could-
bowling, the classic bowling,
Yeah, yep.
also like
Rel-
cornhole tournaments, that competition piece that you were talking about earlier. And then lastly, we had any DIY food. Make your own pizzas, make your own mashed potato bar came up. Woo!
Ah, we had an ice cream bar.
Yes.
Or a taco bar.
Woo!
So, then we talked about baking, but I think somebody else had that on there.
Our group came up with like a cookie decorating competition, like
Oh, nice.
make the scariest cookie, make the
What about an ugly Christmas sweater making contest? Whoever would have done that?
I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, roller skating. One of our people came up with roller skating.
How about ice
I'm s-
skating?
oh.
Going sledding? Or for the hikers, going snowshoeing?
Ice tubing.
Or just walking in the
snow-
woods? I don't know.
Snow tubing, I guess it's called. Snow tubing.
It's up there, inner tubing.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
on
Oh, got it.
frozen or liquid water.
You'd utilize Presque Isle for those that are close.
Yeah.
I know one time when I was talking to Nick, he talked about something he did with his adults, but the kids might like is they did a walk in the woods and talked about scripture. I can't remember what word in the woods or something he talked about, but
The Kinzu Reserve area, the state park has a lot of opportunities.
Can you help me spell Kinzu? I'm ashamed I don't know how, but I'm struggling.
Kinzua. I
Thank
think
you.
they spell it.
yes.
Nicely done.
Woodcock would be another place.
Yeah.
Going to a restaurant, having pie or coffee. I'm also saying you could do that in a nice, like, cozy room of the parish.
How about good old fashioned volleyball, or if your parish or social hall has a gymnasium, basketball, gentle dodgeball.
Pickleball's real big right now as well. There's leagues all
Oh,
over.
pickleball, yes.
Or ultimate frisbee.
Frisbee golf as well.
Another game, Hungry Hippo.
Ah, yes.
And you can do
Actually-
that with like actual people and laundry baskets and a bunch of balls in the middle, and then have someone push the kids in and like use the laundry basket to pull the balls back. Those are crazy, but fun.
Our someone also talked about going to the library and using some of their resources and their events, or making up your own.
Yeah, and I don't know how many libraries have different things, but I was really astonished by what the Erie Library has that's not library. Like, it's not books. It's like green screens and like glow forges and 3D printing and like all kinds of stuff. So check out what else is not a book at the library.
Library is right now having this really big jigsaw puzzle putting together contest in teams, and it's very popular.
Also card games like euchre are coming back. I was interested to find that.
Someone in our group said minute to win it stations.
There's some other pretty newer card games too, like 5 Crowns. Or like there are different versions of Uno. Like, oh, you put Uno down there. Good job.
Okay. I'll put 5 crowns in there too. That's a new one to me.
Goat yoga.
What?
Goat
Goat
yoga.
yoga.
Joyce, you're bringing the
Yeah.
goats, right? That's what I
Well,
just
no,
heard.
no, skipping the goats, but there is a game that it's an inflatable goat, and you do yoga, and you have to keep this goat on you. My grandkids tried to kill me with this a couple days ago.
Yes.
All right. So I think my point here is simply that the opportunities are endless. Look at that, you guys. Look at all those ideas. And some of them, like Minute to Win It, it's going to take you a minute to set up. But a lot of the other ideas are things that if you say like, look, we're going to go hiking at the Kinzu Dam. This is the parking lot we're meeting at. Your kids get dropped off at the parking lot. They get picked up at the parking lot. Your grand total planning time is permission slips. And we'll talk about this later in the second session about child protection and permission slips and all the nitty-gritty stuff. But those permission slips can be done for a semester. So your grand plan time for that session is 5 minutes. And you get to just spend that time investing in your kids or your students. So that screen did not go away just because I stopped sharing it with you. I'm going to prettify it, and then I'm going to put it on something called a Padlet, which is basically like an online bulletin board. Let me just share it so that you can see what I'm talking about. It'll be easier to describe that way. This online bulletin board is just designed for the rollout. So it's designed for you to be able to implement the new things that we're doing as a diocese. EDGE, many of you are familiar with. There's all kinds of resources here for EDGE. There's all kinds of things that are coming up. When NCYC was here, we advertised that under upcoming events. But you are especially interested in right here, 10th grade small groups. And we'll keep adding resources to this as we go through the year. But the Padlet link that Mary sent to you will take you right to this page. And all of these, when you click on them, it'll open the whole document. So you can scroll through here. There's lots of different things that are hopefully helpful for you. And you can explore them on your own time. But I will share the list of things that you came up with tonight. But then I'd also encourage you, as you find things that work for your kids, you're like, man, this one was fire. Like this one was really good for my group. Please share that with us so we can share it with everybody and share it with the people right next to you who have access to the same resources as you do, so that we're not working super hard. We need to work smarter, not harder. We all have a lot on our plates, and you're all investing a lot in the lives of our young people. And so we want to do everything we can to make this a really reasonable thing. As you continue to plan, pay attention to your students, pay attention to your young people and what they're interested in, because that'll give you your fodder for the next thing. They'll tell you what your next thing can be if you pay attention to what they're interested in. But we want to stop right here so that if you have any questions, you can go ahead and ask them now, and we can all learn from each other. So if you have a question, you can type it in the chat. You can unmute yourself and just ask.
I just have a quick question about the Padlet. Is that an app that we should be downloading, or is it just follow this link and you can get this information?
It's just like a website.
Okay, so it's nothing I need to sign in and have a username, password, all that?
Nope.
Okay.
No extra apps for your phone.
So we're separating the different areas of development, but is there anything, why couldn't we bring them together? So like we have the human element to it, so it's a chill a way of engaging with each other, but we're also having that intellectual orb, and it's like bringing the prayer into it so that we're growing in spirit, our spiritual formation as well, so that it's integrated versus that separation.
Oh, definitely integration is good. What I want to really make sure that we don't do is that to lose sight of the human formation part, especially as we're trying to win the relationship at the beginning. So I'm glad you asked that question, because what I don't want you to walk away with is like, don't pray, don't serve, and don't be smart in the next 6 weeks. Like, don't do that. we're one person. We should integrate those. So if our emphasis so much on the human formation at the beginning led you to believe that was totally separate, I'm sorry, that is not what we intended. But where we kind of gravitate as a church is toward the intellectual formation and toward service, I think, a lot. And so what gets kind of lost in that is the space that we need to build a relationship, like the unstructured, unpressured space. And that's what we want to make sure is very available in those first 6 weeks so that we can till that soil. So yes, Irene, please pray during those first 6 weeks, at least some part during your night. Like, integrate, you don't have to make sure that you don't serve each other at all during those meetings, but just make sure that the focus is providing space for your people to grow in community with each other and to start to get to know who Jesus is. It's really important that their life can kind of be front and center so that you have something to help them bring to faith and then back to life again. That team, you can hop in.
Yeah, no, I think tonight is a perfect example. We all went away. We did a homework project. We came back. And when people were like, we were laughing, we were doing our jabs and whatnot, like people's eyes lit up, on the screen here. I think that that's important is you got to have not only, caring and yes, carrying on the faith and all this stuff can feel so heavy, but you have to have fun too. You got to have fun with these young people, and that's what we kind of all did together here. Even though we were doing something, we were doing an intellectual activity, we were still investing in each other. So I think tonight's like a good example of like how those things can blend really nice. But just be authentically you while you're doing it.
Oh,
Yeah,
authenticity.
I think the work of putting in building that human dimension, that community, that relationship will pay dividends when you are doing some of the other elements that you're going to be doing. But I think I want to go back to what Jillian said. A statistic that should really kind of worry all of us is that how many young people are going into a counselor or on medication or something because they are feeling lonely, depressed, and isolated, and they have no one to talk to. This really opens up that avenue where you are a trusted person where they will talk with you, and then you can go deeper. And so that's one of the things that we want to give that space where someone who has a really difficult question about the faith, that's where you're going to get to those questions. So did you have a question there, Irene?
Well, there was just there's all these great ideas that we have about bringing people together as well. And I've been trying to do that on another basis. And I've had one kid show up at a point. I mean, we weren't one-on-one, so the safe environment's all taken care of, but whenever they only see when they only see they're the only one showing up, it's really hard for him to see others being invested.
Yeah, totally get it. Yeah.
I tried doing a hike at Woodcock and it's like, I don't have any responses because they're so busy already that trying to build a relationship with the church when you're there, even the families only see church as being a place you go Sundays if they come weekly. They don't come, like the faith formation kids that we're having, that we're trying to roll this out to, we're not even building that relationship now to get it beyond where we are. It's
Everything you just said. Yep. There was a thing on social media the other day that showed adults. They were in a football stadium covered with snow, and it was just saying, if our people had the passion of going to church like they do going to this sporting event, sitting in a blizzard, we would be able to change the world. So we have. I totally agree. We have a lot of work to do, and sometimes it might start with, how do we involve the families first to be able to get the kids there too? That's, again, Yep,
A couple of
we're all swimming in the same pool.
yeah,
Yep.
a couple thoughts with that. Yes, it is hard, 100%. As we invest in them more through the edge and purpose and just being aware in everyday life, like this is a whole parish evangelization opportunity that we're aware and we know our students. If they don't come to our event, then what is the way that we still keep reaching out? Like, is there like a text thread that we can have parents and students on? Is there some way to still let them know, like, hey, I missed you. Hey, we do still have this. I know that for myself, there are things that I would love to attend. And I've been on a mailing list for like a year and I haven't made it work. Like I almost got there one time. I was almost there and it was a meetup at a park and we had 2 kids. We had gone through like plan C for dinner and my husband was like, oh, and kid A only has 1 shoe. And I was like, well, and fail again, like going back home. So is there a way that we can still keep contact, being creative, like not asking people to come to us, but asking what are the creative ways that we can go to them? Not saying that like now this is another 10-person job, but just like starting to cogitate on what is the way that we can keep meeting people where they're at, even if they're not ready to take that relationship to the level of actually showing up for us yet.
We have one more question and then I think can be the last one for the night. Rebecca Sank is been waiting patiently.
It's more of a comment to hers. So we have done some feelers out there on what's going to work for this youth group that we intend to start. And we're going to basically take it as a continuation of their faith formation and Sundays. Where they've already been dedicating to faith formation is the Sunday afternoon is when we're going to work with the teenagers and have that group. So it is just going to replace what they were already doing. And we're hoping that the success then is greater.
Thanks, Rebecca.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for showing up, being here. We really appreciate you. We'll see you before we sign off. Obviously, we'll see you next week at this same time, same channel, and we'll have Deacon Steve close us out in prayer.
All right. So thank you all again for your attention. So as we leave this meeting and as we prepare to have a night's sleep, we just ask God to bless our rest, bless our weariness, and we ask you to bless each person here, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Amen. Go in peace, everybody.
Take care.
Thanks.